Hey guys, welcome. I just want to come on here live. Easton was napping, but I think he's waking up now. I just went live in my challenge group, and we're talking about reflections, and I thought this would be a good topic to come on here live for. What? Was a fly on your nose?
No, over my nose and my mouth.
What?
I need water.
Okay, hold on. Sorry guys. Okay, he's awake now. Okay, this will be fast. I actually listened to this really great podcast yesterday with a mentor coach of mine, and it was about reflections, and I thought it would be an interesting topic to go live on here, since we're closing the end of the year, and whoever follows me, you might not follow her. You probably don't follow her, so it would be helpful, I'm sure. So reflections for 2019. Basically looking back at the year and then reevaluating so that we can set goals in the new year. And I think everybody should be setting goals. In fact, in my newest challenge group that's starting.
The fog got out of my nose.
Oh, I did. That's starting now, tomorrow actually, in the Holiday Fit Challenge, 12 Days of Christmas, and then the VIP group, the Bar Challenge that we're doing in January. We get to be in my group plus my uplines group. She's doing the Holiday Thrive Challenge, and there's going to be 2 goal-setting vision workshops that we're going to do for everyone that's doing the Bar program. So if you're interested, message me so I can get you into that group. It's called Holiday Thrive. But the reflections I think is super important because, like I said, goal setting is super important because, I think I was listening to Rachel Hollis and she was saying how, a lot of people will message her and say, I don't know, I feel like I'm too old to start this business, or I feel like I'm too old to go back to school, which I heard people saying that all the time, I'm too old to go back to school. But let's just say that what you're someone's 50 or 60 and they're saying that, what does that mean? People are living to be 80 or 90, or a lot of people are living to 100 nowadays. So what if you had 40 or 50 years left of your life? What are you going to do all day? Sit around and watch TV for 40 years? Or, are you going to, set some goals and, make it this amazing life? I don't even know why you would sit around and, retire. What does retire mean at 65? Then you're just, you're just done? Your life is just over? I mean, traveling, but you're going to travel every day? I mean, why don't you set some amazing goals and still travel 4 times a year? I don't know. Just a thought. Otherwise, what are you going to do for the rest of the year? Just sit around and eat bonbons and watch Netflix every day? I don't understand. So, anyways, what she had said is that a lot of people, a lot of people had been, if you remember back to Y2K, which is the 2000 or 1999 going into 2000, a lot of people thought the world was ending at that time. And that was 20 years ago, which is crazy to think about that was 20 years ago. But just if you look back in your life at just in 20 years, what have you accomplished in 20 years? I mean, I've become a veterinarian. I've been a veterinarian for 11 years now. Since then, I mean, that was 3 years before I even started veterinary school. I lived in another country. I mean, look at all the things you can accomplish in 20 years. And so what can you accomplish in another 20 years? Amazing. A whole other career plus 10 years experience. I mean, that's amazing. So anyways, I think goal setting is super important. So in order to set goals, we have to do some reflection. So here's the questions that I want you to get a notebook and a piece of paper and write down, and I'm feeling itchy, okay. Get a notebook and a pen and write down the answers to these questions. And so number 1, what is a moment that brought me joy in 2019? For me, it was kind of small things in 2019. I would say getting to watch Easton play soccer was pure joy for me. being at Summit in Indianapolis with my team was really, really hard and stressful to make that happen for myself, but I made it happen, and it was like pure joy to like work out in the streets with 25,000 people at 5 a.m. That was pure joy. Going to the aquarium with Easton was pure joy, even though like some of the moments weren't always perfect. It was pure joy to see his face at everything, like all the new stuff. I feel like going to the pumpkin patch with him was pure joy. Even yesterday was pure joy, just being like going to do Santa with him. Number two, what is a habit you formed in 2019, good or bad? And if it's bad, obviously, how are you gonna get rid of that habit? For me, I've been doing a Start Today journal that I started last December, and I have been really consistent with. Not at first, but I've been more consistent toward the latter part of the year, which I feel like is, I guess, indicative of the fact that it's becoming a habit. It's basically writing down what I'm grateful for every morning, starting my day before everyone else gets up, and using that time for myself, and then writing down my goals. And it's feeling more like a habit now. Like I don't have to force myself, it's just something I do in the morning. And so I feel like that's a really good, positive habit. Starting my day with gratitude, starting my day with goal setting, starting my day with intention, starting my day with me time and with God's time. So I'm really proud of that habit. Number 3, who was someone you forgave this year in 2019? Because forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you. Holding on to resentments and hate and anger for someone else is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I have been working on this for a while, since I've been doing I just finished my 4th 12 step this year. In fact, I forgot to put that in my accomplishments. But my 4th 12 step I finished in January of this year. And it's basically doing an inventory, and then reading it to my sponsor, and then like forgiving people in my life. And I've forgiven some really hard people in my life over the years that I was hanging on to, and it's not for them. And even sometimes I have to forgive them again and again and again. But the main point is that it's not for them. And if somebody is continuing to actually hurt me, then I don't need to keep them in my life. Like at least I don't need to I can leave if they're starting to hurt me. Like if they do something that's hurtful, or is unkind, I can leave, because I don't have to stay around and let someone hurt me. So I thought that was good. So who have you forgiven in 2019? Number 4, what doors have closed in 2019, and what have you let go of, like relationship-wise or job-wise? For me, I let go of working at an emergency clinic in Fresno that was sucking my soul. I have been doing emergencies since 2010. I gave up overnights when he was born in 2015, but I was still doing emergency until 2018. I still do some emergency, but the Fresno emergency clinic, I have to be there at 7 a.m. It's an hour and a half there, depending on if I have to drive my son to the sitters. Sometimes it's 2 hours first thing in the morning, and then I have to be there at 7. So that means I have to leave my house at like 5 to 5:30 in the morning. 5 in the morning, and I have to be up at like 3:30 to get everything prepared for the day. And then and then we get off at 7, but you can never leave on time because it's emergency. So by the time I leave, it's like usually 9 o'clock, and time I get home, it's like 11 o'clock, and it was just getting too much. So I shut the door on that particular job, and God has blessed me with so many amazing opportunities that aren't 15 hours a day. They're more like 10 to 12 hours a day, which I can handle. And most people only work 8 hours a day, so I feel like it's not being lazy. I mean, veterinary medicine is so crazy. So anyways, for right now, we're done with the emergency clinic in Fresno. And and that's okay. In fact, I'm happy about it. What are you most grateful for in 2019? I was so grateful. I'm just so grateful for our home, for our safety, for peace in our home. Our house is peaceful. Just for that I can wake up early and have that time for myself, and then like Easton wakes up and cuddles mommy, and that's great. That's my favorite. I'm so grateful for that, for morning cuddles. Number 6, what is a tough moment in 2019 that you went through? We were struggling. I don't know if it's my tough moment or my husband's tough moment, but we were struggling with like something. I won't go into the details, but we were struggling with something that happened that he's been going through, and I've been trying not to worry, but a little stressed about what the outcome would be, and if he was going to be gone soon, for the, I don't know. Anyways, so we do have an answer now. It's still a little tough, but I don't feel as stressed about it as I did earlier this year. I feel like we have the answer. I'm doing what I can do. It is what it is, right? So that's good. And what is something I accomplished in 2019? What is something you accomplished in 2019? For me, I accomplished in January, I graduated my 4th 12-step in codependency, and negative self-talk is something I was working on at Celebrate Recovery, and I'm a sponsor now. I also did the Transform 20. It's a step aerobics class that's online. On my Fitness on Demand, and that's 8 weeks. I completed that whole program, which I did from January until April.
Mommy,
Yes?
how long are we going to get out?
Pretty soon. And then in July at the end of July, I started a 100 workout program, and I just completed that in November. I did all 100 workouts. So, and I haven't really fallen off this year. I've been really consistent with my workouts. I've just started bar blend and PiYo, and so I'm finishing this year strong. And I attended Summit with my team in July, or June actually. And I haven't given up on my business. And in fact, I've been, the parts I felt, whenever I feel stuck, I've been leaning into personal development and trying to figure out where I can improve. So I feel like that's a big blessing as well. So that's it. That's my reflections. I'd love to see a screenshot if you do this reflection. I'd love to see your answers. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you're having a great day. Happy Sunday.